So the vast majority of what we got here are red-eared sliders. And red-eared sliders, red-eared slider. Red-eared sliders, red-eared sliders. More red-ears, red-eared slider. More red-eared sliders. More red-eared sliders, red-eared slider. The red-eared slider, red-eared sliders.
Red-eared sliders.
So many red-eared sliders, so many. That is a big red-eared slider. Red-ears, red-eared sliders.
Red-eared sliders.
Red-ears are crossing with yellow bellies. Red-eared slider. Red-eared sliders. Red-eared sliders. Red-eared sliders. Red-eared sliders. Pancake red-eared slider. More red-ears. That is in fact a red-eared slider. Red-ear yellow belly or a yellow red-ear. Red-eared sliders. Red-eared sliders. Back at it again. Being a rescue means rescues are going to come in, and I'm not talking about Tiki, our little cockatiel here. I'm talking about a whole new load of turtles that came in from the Popcorn Park Animal Refuge. What makes matters worse, the weather is terrible today, so we're back inside the reptile building right now, and we've got boxes and containers to go through to see what kind of condition these animals are in. All right. Where you going, T? There you go. I really don't want you up there. Can you come down? Come on. Okay, that's where she's gonna be. All right, so Popcorn Park Animal Refuge. As you guys know, a lot of animals that we have here have come through them. Otis, the eastern box turtle. Unit.
Honey, we can't take you seriously right now.
Can't take me seriously? No.
She's preening your hair.
Where's she going now?
There she goes.
Oh, man. You know what, you guys, a really fun, interesting fact. Tiki is a hand-fed cockatiel that Casey raised. She hand-fed her, babied her, and everything.
Yeah, watch what happens.
Yeah.
Watch. Yeah, thanks, Tiki.
Tiki hates Casey. Tiki loves Chris.
Yeah, that's a bunch of crap.
Anyway, you guys are going to have to take me seriously because Tiki's the boss right now. A lot of animals that we have here have come through the Popcorn Park Animal Refuge. John and the whole place are like family to us. And Otis, the famous eastern box turtle, came from them. Unit, the obese common snapping turtle that was fed canned cat food for 12 years, came from them. A plethora of other animals that now call Garden State Tortoise home have come from them. But today, we've got 44 new animals, and we're gonna start with this unfortunate little one right here. This is a female eastern box turtle. And well, eastern box turtles are not supposed to look like this. She's stunted, first of all. You can tell, let me look at the size of her head relative to her body. She's got what looks like a cherry eye going on over here. And what else we have? The shell is obviously deformed. Not the worst we've ever seen, but certainly not what it's supposed to be. Her tail, if you look at her cute little tail here, it's upturned, and her cloaca, which is her vent, is kind of like outward. Now she is, able to go to the bathroom and do everything else okay, but at some point in time, this animal definitely suffered some pretty severe metabolic bone disease. Not as bad as Bubbles, the leopard tortoise, who, by the way, is still doing well, but definitely significant enough. So this turtle, most likely not going to be able to live with the group of eastern box turtles outdoors anytime soon. She also can't live with Otis because Otis will attack her. But that's actually a good point. Let's bring Otis over here to show you guys a comparison of what a box turtle should look like and what one should not look like. You're dusty. There you go. Now granted, Otis is a male, this little girl is a female, so there are some obvious differences like eye color and tail length and leg length and stuff like that. But you see how perfect Otis's shell is, how smooth, and it has a nice even arc to it. This animal was grown properly in a natural manner, whereas this little one was not. She's lumpy, misshapen a bit, but she is certainly adorable. Wouldn't you say, Otis? I'm not gonna let you at her. You can try all you want. It's unfortunate because so much of that outdated information is still out there, and unfortunately these turtles end up like this. A lot of them don't even make it to this. They end up in untimely deaths. I hate to say it, but it's true. Don't worry, he's a bit intimidating. He's also really full of himself. So there you go, there's a quick comparison of what a box turtle should look like and what one should not look like. As far as behavior goes here, we all know that Otis doesn't act like your typical box turtle. In fact, she is acting a little bit more like a normal box turtle than he is. All right, let's see what else we've got. one down. So the vast majority of what we got here are red-eared sliders. That's the most common turtle that any rescue is gonna get. The only other species that comes in really as commonly as they do are gonna be large sulcata tortoises, which we did not get this time, luckily. But just to give you an idea here, let's see. Here's some medium-sized sliders. These look like, yep, these are males, full-grown males. So, you know, that's not exactly a small turtle. Manageable, yes, if you can provide for it. But when we compare this to an adult female, let's see if I can find one, you can see where the challenge comes into play. Here's one. This isn't even a big one, but look at that. You guys have seen us take in red ears before that are, you know, nearly twice as size as this animal, and there definitely are some big bruisers in here. And it's the age-old tale, you know. People go to pet stores or reptile shows and they buy these little tiny sliders that are the size of a quarter, beautiful lime greens and yellows with the bright red stripe behind the eye. And people still lie about how large they're gonna get, or they will tell you, oh, it's only gonna grow to be the size of the tank that you keep it in. You've gotta know that that's not true by now. And a simple Google search or just coming over to our channel to watch a video will teach you that that is not true. This animal really deserves a life in a backyard pond, but there are other ways to keep them happy and safe and secure. People use baby pools that are enclosed in so that predators can't get to them if they can't get out of. Preformed ponds, large Rubbermaid and county line tubs. There's all kinds of things you can do for these animals, but trying to keep one in a 20-gallon tank for its entire life, or even a 40-gallon breeder, that is not big enough or fair for an adult red-eared slider. And more often than not, when they're not raised properly and they're fed the wrong diet, well, that's what you end up with. You can see that these two red-eared sliders are, first of all, stunted. They're both adult females, older than the animal right there. I think they said these are 25 now or so. Their shells are curling up. They're about half the size of what they should be at this age. Their colors are washed out, and you know, they may have liver problems or other issues going on. You can also see that their beaks are overgrown, which is not something that happens easily to a red-eared slider. So unfortunately, these two animals really were kept improperly. Rushed growth, but they ended up becoming stunted. And I mean, guys, look at that. Look at the size of this turtle's head compared to its body. Now, a lot of turtles in nature will have what's called a megacephalic head, and that's when the head is really large, and it's evolved and developed to be that way to crush things like mollusks and crustaceans. But in this case, that's not what happened here. This animal was fed the wrong foods and kept in an improper environment entirely, and this is what we've ended up with. I don't even know what this animal is like in the water. It may have buoyancy issues. We're gonna have to check it out. Look at the plastron. Red-eared sliders are supposed to have beautiful yellow plastrons with black rosettes. You can't even really make out the markings on this animal. Everything has just really kind of been rushed. And man, that's really unfortunate. Really unfortunate. But at least it's strong. And we'll have to see that this animal's gonna need TLC. I don't know how it would do in a pond with others. Oh boy, let's see. Who's in here? Who's in here? More red ears. Big females. So there you go. Big girls. But they can get larger. In fact, if you saw one of the recent videos we did with Tallulah, there's a red-eared slider we took in from a woman. She's a lot bigger than these two, but she was kept in pristine conditions, and really everything from her color and stature is perfect. These two are not bad. They look pretty good. They would do very well in a backyard pond. Beautiful turtles. Really, it's unfortunate what we as humans have done to them, because at one point in time, these turtles were really cherished, and now they're cherished by way fewer people. They're just, they're considered disposable pets, and that's not what you are. Look at those eyes. Beautiful aqua-colored eyes. So on the end here, more red-eared sliders. There's a smaller female. There's a big one. There's another thing going on with that one. Now that could be cosmetic from hatching. Sometimes issues occur in the egg. You can see that hump there right around her 4th vertebral scoot. That doesn't seem to slow her down. These two look to be in good health. Very strong. She's actually really cutting into me with those fingers. I'm still getting over my poison ivy, so can you watch that, please? What do you think, Teague? No, you don't care. Okay. So many red-eared sliders. So many. The most heavily traded turtle across the globe. There's now so many different color morphs. You've got albinos, lubinos, caramel albinos, albino bubblegum het for invisible. You know, it's out there. I'm sure somebody made it. That's a really pretty one. Very light colors. Another female. You see that though, folks? It's a decent sized turtle that is not done growing yet. She will get larger. She needs a nice big body of water that she can just rip around in. You know, the other challenge to these turtles is they're omnivorous. So if you keep them in like a goldfish pond, not only will they go after the small goldfish that they can catch, but they will also eat aquatic vegetation. So you can see why once they go from being little tiny green turtles to these big ones. Whoa, that's a big one. That is a big one. You can see how they become a challenge quickly. That is a big red-eared slider with a megacephalic head. Look at that head. That is so cool. Hello. Wow. Let's see. Okay. All right, so here's a nice big female.
Hun, I think there's an egg in there.
There really is an egg in there. They also reproduce, folks. That means more red-eared sliders. I don't know if these two particular females were with males, so this may be an infertile egg. It also looks like it's been retained a while because it's got some overcalcification here. Now you see that dent? That does not mean that the egg is bad by any means. Turtle eggs, not every species, but a lot of species, including red-eared sliders, have leathery shelled eggs, so they will dent, and that's totally fine. Once they start developing, they swell up and they won't dent anymore. But what I was trying to show you guys is the difference in these two females. These are adult females, but look at the size in both the overall shell length, but that head, that massive head that this female in my left hand has compared to this more typical female that we see. That is just so cool. You do not see wide heads on them that often. It's more of a trait of map turtles and diamondback terrapins because they're really crushing up those crustaceans and mollusks. But wow, it makes me wonder if this red ear was actually a wild turtle at one point, and that's how it developed that head. Who knows? I mean, it's a perfectly grown one, a bit dried out, but that is a super impressive red-eared slider. Hello. Wow. There's something different, but yet another common pet trade species. This is an African side-neck turtle. I believe this is Pelusius castaneus. A little bit easier to manage when compared to a red-eared slider. You are looking at a fully grown female right there, so she does fit in the palm of my hand pretty much. Well, my hand, I shouldn't say the palm. And they like more shallow water. They are a mud turtle. They really enjoy digging into mud and hiding. Very common in Africa. You'll see them in all those watering holes that you see on like Discovery and Animal Planet shows. But the challenge with them is they can't take temperatures as cold as the red-eared slider can. So these animals cannot stay outside in the winter in a place like New Jersey or, I don't even think they would do well in like the Carolinas and Georgia outside. You know, you probably have to be in South Florida for this species to be left outdoors. Could be wrong, but in my experience, I believe that is the case. She looks healthy. That's nice to see. Now we've got a whole tub here of smaller animals. Look at that. Christmas morning, huh? So, here is how red-eared sliders turn out in about just a year's time. So this is probably a yearling right here. That's how fast they get to that size. That's a young male, beautiful. It's to see he's still got some of that beautiful green coloration, but as a baby, he was even brighter than this. There's that plastron I was talking about, bright yellow with the black rosettes. And there's some other red ears in here. as well as a yellow-bellied slider. This is one of the other more common slider species that are sold in the pet trade. Usually a little bit smaller than red ears, but they do get to be pretty big too. And what's interesting about the yellow belly, they've been crossing them with red-eared sliders for years and years and years now, both in the pet trade and through releases into the wild. Red ears are crossing with yellow bellies, so you don't always see pure ones. This one looks pretty pure to me, which is pretty cool. It's also a young male. You can see it's got that beautiful classic yellow marking on either side of the head. And one of the ways to recognize a yellow belly is they usually only have the black rosettes right up there on the gular scutes, as opposed to all over the plastron like you see on a red ear. And we also have this little guy right here. Now this is definitely a more manageable aquatic turtle species when it comes to the males. This is a fully grown male Mississippi map turtle. This guy will not get any larger, and you can actually tell that he's elderly. He's, well, I don't want to say elderly, but he's definitely done growing because his shell's all smoothed out. There's no more growth annuli. And you can just tell overall his body condition is that he's not a very young turtle. Look at those beautiful white irises. It reminds me of Lakai, the Vietnamese black-breasted leaf turtle. Really, really does. I'll have to do a comparison with that at some point. And then a turtle that I love seeing, but I would prefer to see these in the wild, the eastern painted turtle. Far more manageable though, as far as a captive aquatic turtle goes, because you're looking at an adult female. That's it. And there's an adult male. My opinion, these are a much better choice than a red-eared slider. They're also mostly carnivorous, so they're not known to really destroy aquatic plants in a pond, which is nice. Everybody in here looks pretty healthy. I'm pleased with that. Okay, moving on. Here's the one and only tortoise we got with this rescue. It's a male Russian tortoise. Typical size you see that they sell these in PetSmarts and Petcos. It's got a little bit of an overgrown beak, but nothing too bad. As far as his nails go, believe it or not, Russian tortoises need long, strong nails like that because they're a burrowing species. And in fact, they can go up to like 3 feet deep when they're trying to escape heat or cold. It's just normally what the species does. It's a beautiful male, really nice yellow coloration, and he looks really healthy. So this guy, for the most part, experienced some pretty good care. And, you know, after quarantine, he'll probably go right into a group here and do fine with the others. Oh boy. Red-eared sliders. Red-eared sliders. Red-eared sliders. There's the box turtle again. Red-eared sliders. Hang on here. Let's take a look at you. Here's another one that was not grown properly. You see she's flaring up there. A little odd looking. I don't know what happened there. And she's got some damage here. It's all healed up though to the plastron. You can see that exposed bone there. But that is definitely healed. That's nothing active right now, so that's good. I don't know what happened there. She may have just scraped herself at some point. Let me come around. We got a pancake red-eared slider here now. I don't know what happened there, but that's another condition. Let's see. Oh, in fact, both of these must have been kept together. Yeah, you just wonder what these animals are experiencing. And you know, we don't get the full story on all these things. Popcorn Park is gracious enough to accept these surrenders throughout, you know, the year or course of a few months. And then once they've got, you know, a heavy load of them, that's when we get contacted, and that's what happened here. So we just don't get the full story on them, and in fact, they don't either. What do we got here? More red ears. See that? That is in fact a red-eared slider, but it's what we call a melanistic slider. With age, the males often turn black like this, and they'll even get gray or cream-colored areas on the carapace scutes. It's a sign of age, it's normal, and a lot of people are blown away by this because when they find these turtles or they see them, they think it's a totally different species, but all it is melanism. And the animal's just being, taken over by that dark pigment. The thing looks really, really cool. You know what? It's hard for me to tell, but I think this is actually a yellow-bellied slider or maybe a cross. Either way, it is a melanistic slider, red ear, yellow belly, or a yellow red ear. Really interesting animal. Even the eyes are dark, that's really, really neat. And who's this? No, that's a yellow belly. You know what? These two are together, so I'm assuming this is in fact a melanistic yellow belly. Because this one's turning dark too. These are just extremely old males. Still healthy though, and they look pretty good. Red-eared sliders, the sliders like this, the aquatic turtles, they just don't stop. People get themselves involved in the animals. A lot of times they mean well, but life changes happen, and these animals are not easy to house in an indoor setting. But if you can create an outdoor setting that's fully protected from predators and escapes, and the animal can be happy, these animals are a lot of fun to enjoy. I mean, just picture coming out to a backyard pond or something you created for them and seeing them basking on a log. They learn to associate their keepers as a source of food, and they will run up to you or swim up to you for food. So out of just one big rescue, of all of these animals, 30 out of 44 were red-eared sliders. Absolutely nuts. I got a lot of work to do to get these animals set up, but I want to introduce you guys to a new arrival here at Garden State Tortoise, an animal I'm really excited about. Meet Raftar. Raftar is a juvenile Cayman lizard. They're actually a tegu. You see that huge head he's got there? In the wild, they use this also basically megacephalic head to crush things like snails. And in fact, that's what I just fed him. I fed him canned snails. Oh, he's trying to jump on the camera there. These lizards are a bit of a challenge. The vast majority of them are farmed, which means they come in often loaded with parasites, and we did treat Raftar to make sure that he doesn't suffer from anything. He's putting on weight, and I'm saying he, but I'm not sure. A couple friends have looked at him saying it actually might be a female. What an amazing, intelligent lizard. And what's really cool about them is they are in fact semi-aquatic, so they need a large water area. Being fully grown at around 4 feet, sometimes larger for males, these lizards definitely need a decent size enclosure. And at this small size, Raftar already has 7 feet of enclosure to move around in. Look at that beautiful orange head. And you can see where he gets the name Cayman lizard. Look at that. His whole scalation, scutes, and skin are extremely crocodilian-like. And if you touch it, it feels just like you're touching the back of a young alligator, crocodile, or cayman. Super amazing, amazing animals. I've always wanted to have one of these and be able to work with them. And Raftar really has been a breath of fresh air in getting my start with this species. He came from a good friend of ours, Alan, over at Major League Exotic Pets. And I'm just completely in awe with this animal. I love lizards, I love snakes, you guys know that. I know you don't get to see too many of them here on our channel, but it'll be really cool to watch Raftar grow up. And as far as a bite goes, these animals can deliver a pretty painful bite, but unlike monitor lizards, they don't have those really serrated or hooked teeth. They have more of a crushing bite. So you don't want to get bit even when they're juveniles, but they are also an animal that is less likely to bite as compared to some other lizards. Let's see if he wants another snail. Still hungry, pal? Go ahead. Go ahead. There we go. That is a sign of a healthy Cayman lizard. Beautiful South American species. Amazing in so many ways. So what do you say, Raftar? I think you should go back in your enclosure because Casey and I have got a ton of work to do with our brand new rescues. Hey guys, I wanted to let you know a couple things. On April 27th, over at the one and only Iguana Land in Punta Gorda, Florida, is the first ever annual Turtle Fest, being hosted by Ty Park, a good friend of ours. Iguana Land is the largest reptile zoo with an incredible turtle and tortoise collection. I mean, the place is absolutely immaculate, over the top. I can't say enough nice things about it. We're gonna be there. Casey actually did the logo for the event. I'll leave a link in the description in case you're in the area down there in Florida and you wanna come by and say hi. And also, if you're in the UK, we're coming for you. May 18th and 19th at Riddle University College in Chelmsford. We are gonna be there talking to you guys about turtles and tortoises and our life with them at the European Turtle Alliance. We can't wait. We've been looking forward to coming overseas and meeting many of you for years now, and we're finally doing it. So, time to get back to work, Rathtar. We got a lot to do.